Alrighty, g'day there. I'm Jesse Crow, the traveling scientist, here in quarantine in Australia, and it is day 6, nearly halfway through my quarantine, trying to get back into Australia, and going live every day, same time, 11 o'clock West Australia time, 1 p.m. East Australia time, 8 p.m. in the Pacific Standard Time, and like 4 a.m. if you're in the UK. G'day, Casey. Thanks for joining us. This is me, Jesse, in quarantine. This is my hat. It's my Crocodile Dundee hat. It was a gift from my mum. Shout out to Cheryl Crow. Thank you so much for the gift. What do you think of it? Is it ridiculous? Doesn't quite fit my head, but I think it looks fancy. So yesterday I was telling the story of how I first got to Canada, how I learnt to surf when I was in Canada, how I ended up living in a penthouse apartment. G'day, Natasha. Good to see you. How I lived in a penthouse apartment on a ski resort, and how I pretty much ran out of money and had to borrow money from my friends, which was a rough time. That was yesterday's story. You can check that out on Instagram TV or on YouTube. Yes, Natasha, my mom's name is Cheryl Crow, and she sent me this lovely hat. So thank you. But yes, today's story, I'm going to be telling about what else happened while I was living in Big White and how I ended up back in Portland in Oregon with a motorbike and a Chihuahua. It's a pretty exciting story. So hold on to your hats like I'll be holding on to mine. And what else can I tell you? I'm stuck in quarantine. It's pretty chill. I've been in this room for 6 days now, nearly halfway. And then soon I'll be released back into the wilds of Australia, where I can keep wearing my hat and see all my friends and family and stuff. So that's going to be really cool. But anyway, today, let me tell you this story of how I ended up going from Canada back to America. So I was living in Big White, living in my penthouse apartment. I was working at Sessions Tap House and Grill, which is an awesome bar. If you ever go to Big White, go have a beer there for me. It's a cool place. I think it was closed this year, but maybe next year it'll be reopened. While I was there, we did, there was so many parties we had. There was a drag party, which, I went along just to have a drink and check it out. And they were like, Jesse, are you dressing up in drag? And I said, well, I don't have a dress. And they said, we've got a spare one. Do you want it? Anyway, half an hour later, I was up dancing on stage with the stage name Heidi Cox. And I looked lovely in drag, I think. I had like 2 ponytails and put some makeup on. I look pretty damn fine, if I do say so myself. Heidi Cox dancing to Shania Twain's Man, I Feel Like a Woman. That was the time. God, I hope those videos never get out. Anyway, there was the drag show. There was Australia Day in Big White, which was insane because Big White is pretty much exclusively Australians over in Canada. So that was a big party day. Sold countless Jaeger bombs, which aren't even Australian, but that's what everyone wanted to drink on the day, and made some good money. So, Australia Day was fun. There were lots of people walking around and dressed in just like underpants and flags. It's actually where this flag came from. I found it on Australia Day in Big White. Anyway, and eventually we had Slush Cup, which is the big end of season party. They set up a big jump just outside the bar, and people just jump into a big pool of slush and do flips and all sorts of stuff. Now, I didn't get to see any of the action on that day. I didn't get to see any of the partying because I was stuck working in the bar, slinging drinks. It's so busy. It was so busy. Everyone on the mountain, a bunch of people coming from Kelowna. It was crazy busy. Everyone was drinking, and I didn't get to see any of the exciting stuff going on outside. But at the end of the day, we split up the tips, and when I got $500 to put in my pocket to walk away with, I was pretty stoked. $500, it's a good day's work for just pouring some beers. And that was it. Then I left Big White. I moved out that night. I moved out of the penthouse apartment, and I disappeared. I decided I wanted to go back to Portland. I made some really good friends there, And I just wanted to get back there. So I drove straight down to the border, and I got to the border at like midnight, and the border security just started hassling me. G'day, Marina. Thanks for joining. Is it weird when you join live and just instantly get greeted? Is that freaky? So the border security is hassling me. They did not want to let me back into America. They were like, do you have any drugs, son? And I was like, no, I don't. I might look like someone who would, but I don't, and I don't have any with me. And they're like, because if you don't tell us and we find them, you're going to get into a lot of trouble. And I was like, I don't have any drugs. Anyway, they like ripped through my car, looked through everything. Obviously they didn't find anything, but they found my diary. Yeah, I write a diary like every couple of days. I think that's a perfectly healthy thing to do. And they read through my diary and seen all the stuff that I've been doing in Big White, and they saw my intentions for going back to America. And they were like, they thought I was trying to sneak in, and they were just like hassling me about really personal stuff, and it really hurt. Border security guards can be really mean, especially the ones coming into America. So, be careful dealing with those dickheads. Anyway, they let me in, and after like an hour of interrogation, and I basically drove down. I had to pull over and sleep in the middle of the night, and then I just kept driving to Portland to surprise my friend Amy. Amy, Teggy, miss you. Shout out. I hope you watch this video. I went to surprise her, and I got to Portland. I knocked on the door, and surprise visit from her parents. So Amy's mum answered the door. It was super awkward. She was like, who are you? And I was like, I'm Jesse. Who are you? Anyway, that was a fun little encounter. And eventually they left, and then I got to live in Portland. Amy was this awesome cocktail bartender. She taught me so much about making cocktails and appreciating drinks, which ended up getting me some really good bar work in the future. But when she was working, she had this epic motorbike, a beautiful Bonneville Triumph that she said I could just ride whenever I wanted. So I would take, g'day Polly, I would take this awesome Triumph motorbike and ride it down to the coast of Oregon, ride to Cannon Beach, up and down the coast. It was just incredible. It was such a nice motorbike. Unfortunately, one morning I was riding it pretty early in the morning, and I was coming around a tight corner, and the road was just really poor condition. I should blame myself. I blame the road. Anyway, I ended up crashing Amy's motorbike. Not really badly. I just kind of like lost control and hit the sidewall. Messed up my left hand, messed up my left foot, and I messed up the bike pretty bad. It got scratched up. I busted off the clutch, and I managed to ride the bike back to the apartment, just barely, but it was pretty messed up, and I apologize for crashing the bike, and I had to pay quite a bit of money to get it fixed up. A few $100s at least, and all that hard-earned money that I earned in Big White, I had to spend on this motorbike. But, after getting the parts ordered, we got it fixed up, and that was awesome. And then a couple weeks later, the bike was stolen. Seriously, just got taken from outside her apartment one day. People came in the middle of the night with a truck, and they picked up the motorbike and put it on the truck and just drove off. Never got found. That was really upsetting to Amy and to me. So that really sucked. Motorbikes get stolen. Make sure you lock your bikes up. That's my bit of advice. And that was sad. But she got a new purple Harley Davidson, and she loves that bike as well. So it's all good. Screw those people that stole the motorbike. Another thing that Amy had, which was awesome, was this little Chihuahua called Frida. This cute little Chihuahua. And I know a lot of people hate Chihuahuas, right? I used to hate Chihuahuas. But when you've actually lived with one and got to know it and got to know the personality, it was really a sweet little dog. And Frida had an Instagram. It's called Drinks with Frida. And you just be able to take this puppy to bars and drink with it. And everyone want photos with their dog. So the Instagram was purely, check it out, Drinks with Frida. Was purely photos of Frida at bars having drinks with people. Unfortunately, Frida was hit by a car last year, and she's no longer with us. But she was a very special dog, and, Chihuahuas aren't as bad as you might think. So, give them a chance. Anyway, one day Amy got a call, and she was just suddenly fired from her job. She was so upset. And it was like, well, what do we do now? So you know what we did? We went to Disneyland. We just packed up the car and drove 1,000 miles south from Portland, Oregon to Los Angeles, California to go to Disneyland. And I tell you what, it was freaking incredible. Disneyland is insane. Oh, excuse me. I just need to... What is this? No, I didn't miss anything. Sorry. Went to Disneyland. It was insane. It was such a good time. It really is the happiest place on earth. And it was really good. It made Amy feel better that she lost a job, and it made me feel good to experience that incredible place. Got to do the Indiana Jones ride. Got to go to Star Wars World and have these like futuristic Star Wars space cocktails. Whew. Disneyland's pretty cool. Check it out sometime if you haven't. And that was really good. But then this happened. And this always seems to happen. With me anyway. Hey, Esther. Traveling unknown scientist. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, but thanks for watching anyway. My visa running out again. I had 2 days left in the country. 2 days to get out of USA. And I had two choices. I could go an hour south to the Mexico border, cross into Mexico, and then cross back into America, and I'd be fine. But that would be taking the risk that if they didn't let me cross the border again, because I'd had some pretty bad experiences with those border security, if they didn't let me across the border, I'd be stuck in Mexico when I needed to be in Canada for the next snow season. Or I'd drive straight north, like just straight all the way to the Vancouver border into Canada. And that was a really tough decision. Do I just jump over into Mexico and take the risk of not being let back in? Or do I just drive all the way up north? It's a pretty tricky decision. And anyway, g'day Isaac, good to see you, mate. Maybe you know what I did, maybe you don't know. But either way, I'm going to save the rest of that story for tomorrow. So tomorrow, I'll be telling the story of what happened, how I escaped America with just barely enough time. I'm also going to talk about the biggest fish I ever caught. That's going to be about tomorrow. I'm going to talk about the farm that I visited, that my father had visited 40 plus years earlier. So really following my father's footsteps. And I'm going to tell you how I ended up in Revelstoke, the incredible town that I ended up spending most of my time in Canada in. That's going to be tomorrow's exciting story. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions for me or if you have any specific stories you want me to tell. I'm going live every single day. It's 11 a.m. Western Australian time, 1 p.m. East Australia time, 8 p.m. Pacific time, and 4 a.m. in the UK, apparently. So we're going live again tomorrow. I hope you guys check in. Thanks so much for watching today. And, get outside, enjoy it. It's a beautiful day in Perth anyway, wherever you are. Enjoy the outside world if you can access it. G'day Nat, good to see you. And Lou's here. Everyone's getting involved right as I'm about to run away. But hey, I miss you all. Thanks so much, guys. Day 6, I'm nearly halfway through quarantine. Super excited to keep going live. And I think that's it. I don't have anything else exciting to say. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you again tomorrow and every day for the next 8 days until I finish quarantine and I can escape into the real world. That's going to be incredible. But in the meantime, take care, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Give someone some love for me. Give someone a hug, a handshake, a high five. Enjoy. Cheers, legends. I'll catch you later.